All right, everybody, before we dive into today's episode, we have some exciting news to share.
That's right. The Casting Faith podcast has officially partnered with
Phorm,
your go-to for the best energy drinks, greens, protein bars, beef sticks, and much more to fuel your fitness and wellness journey.
Whether you're hitting the gym or heading out on the water or just trying to feel better every day, Phorm has you covered. It doesn't matter if you're keto, if you're vegan, whatever diet you're on, they have you covered. Think premium protein products, top-tier vitamins, and even these delicious energy drinks that fuel this podcast.
Here's the best part. When you shop through the link in our bio, you're not just investing in your health, you're helping the Casting Faith podcast and supporting us to bring you more content.
So go ahead and check it out. Grab what you need because they have you covered, and let's tackle this faith, fitness, wellness journey. Whatever you're on, this is the stuff that will fuel you. And let's dive into today's episode.
I challenge you as a believer, let that power get out.
Blind people received their sight. People have been carried in. We're healed. Nobody touched them. Nobody laid a hand on them. We just praised the Lord and spoke the word of faith, and God began to heal the people.
Here's fish.
Yeah, let's go!
Oh my gosh, he's a big.
You landed inside.
He kept me from. God, look how massive this is.
The Casting Faith podcast.
Fish on.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the Casting Faith podcast.
Let's go.
Hey, it's Friday once again, and we're here with you in your car, in your headphones. I am coming through your eardrums right now.
Pretty
and
crazy.
It's nice to know that you're listening in and joining us as we talk fishing, faith, outdoors, and just thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah, joining us.
We appreciate you. I'll say it. We love you.
You.
We you. We you. I love you all. No, it's been great, man. We're on episode, what is this, 33?
Something like that.
That's crazy. And I've got a lot of interaction, engagement from people, you know, to those who have bought some merch. We're grateful for that. Thank you for repping the pod. A lot of encouraging messages coming our way, and it's pretty cool to see. And if you're part of that random 300 plus followers that came through recently on YouTube, welcome to the show.
Yeah, YouTube is a hard place to get followers.
Yeah, we had a big boom there, so it's pretty cool. And so welcome to the show. We're glad you're here, glad you're subscribed, and we hope you enjoy this. But yeah, man, let's just start the show with catching up. Anything new?
Anything new? There's always something new under the sun. Mm-hmm. There's babies born every day.
I thought it was nothing new under the sun.
Well, there's babies born every day.
That's true. That's true. Just not ours.
Yeah. Man, I've been just doing a lot of fishing lately. And mulch. I hate mulch. Yeah, I got 10 yards of mulch out in the yard. You pulled in. I was trying to knock it down a little.
I was like, my man is hustling right now, getting that mulch in the...
Just trying to get it out of the way so I can fish more.
Yeah. Oh, man, you should have called Marcus at Two Clever Fellas. He would have taken care of that for you.
Yeah, he definitely will do that for you.
20% off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, dude, yeah, I hear you. We just finished our garden, like tilling it out and getting the fence up. It's 25 by 30 feet. It's an intense garden this year.
Yeah.
And it took forever. And it was frustrating. This has happened so many times. I have a guy that has a tractor that comes out and tills.
Oh, yeah.
His name's Kenny. Shout out to Kenny. Kenny, if you're listening, he's probably not. He's older. But Kenny's the beast. He comes through and does like multiple neighborhoods. And he's like, I'll do that for you for $20. I'm like, sold. Here's 40. Because it's horrible to try to do that on, like, we've only done this a couple years.
Yeah.
And like the first time I did this, I had borrowed somebody's tiller. And it was just this tiny electric tiller. It's like 11 foot or 11 inches. It's nothing. Like a foot long tiller, and I'm out there just on sod trying to get the ground tilled up. Like I didn't remove the sod at all. I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm like struggling, and to the point where I went to Home Depot and I ordered a gas powered one to borrow. And it was like $100 for the day or for the 2 days or something. And so I get out there and I'm doing this thing again. Didn't take the sod out. Didn't know what I was doing. We were new to this. And I'm out there for hours and I'm getting angry. Hillary's like, we got to get it done before, this day. We got to get seeds in the ground. And I'm like, and she's like in my ear over here. And I wasn't mad at her or anything, but she's like trying to, like, hey, you got to get this done. And I'm like, hey, this is not working. Even with this gas powered thing, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, maybe we just need a smaller garden. Maybe 30 feet isn't what we're going to get this year. And I'm like frustrated and I have my headphones in and I'm like, and nothing's going. I'm hitting roots and rocks and all kinds of other things. And it took me an hour to get one row done. And I'm like starting the second row and I'm like, she's visibly upset trying to get the sod up while I'm trying to do this. And I look over and she's frustrated. I'm like, and I'm losing patience. Like I'm not calm at all. I'm frustrated. And I'm like, as I'm tilling, I'm like, God, I said, we're going to fight. My wife and I are going to fight. This garden is not happening. We just wasted $120 on this tiller and this isn't going to work. I said, I need you to help me right now. I'm like sweating. The earphones are popping out. She's upset. And I'm like, God, you got to help me or we're going to fight. I don't want her to be upset. I want her to have this thing that she wants. She's been wanting a garden forever. And as soon as I said that, no joke, Kenny, this old dude is just driving through my neighbor's backyard and he goes, hey! And I'm like, it's like right after I finish the prayer, I hear this old man say, hey. And I look over and he goes, you're doing that the hard way. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'll do that for you for $20. I do all your neighbors' gardens. And I'm like, here's 40, get over here. And he comes out and in 5 minutes, he does 30 feet in just like 3 strokes. And I'm like, dude, like, where were you my whole life, Kenny? It was like the best $40 I ever spent.
Yeah.
And so every year we call him.
What a prayer.
Oh my gosh. Isn't he faithful? And dude, so we did the garden again and it had to be tilled again. Yeah. It wasn't so bad. It was easier to manage, but I have this 11-foot tiller that I got to give back to Brother Troy. It's been in my shed for 2 years. He's probably like, where's my tiller? But I get out there and I start tilling and I'm like, ugh. Like it's just as frustrating, but it's easier. But right before it was right before Mother's Day, and I'm out there tilling, and I was like, "This is gonna be her gift. I'm gonna get this done." So I spent 6 hours out in that garden just tilling, sweating, tilling it all up. And all week I'm like, Kenny, where you at, man? Like I'm calling him and texting him. He's like, yeah, I'll be out, And he never showed up. I was like. Oh. And so I'm like doing the whole thing.
You got to pray before you talk to Kenny.
Cut to. I just finished. We're about to head to church Sunday morning for Mother's Day. And who do we see in our neighbor's backyard? Kenny's out there tilling. And Hillary looks over at me and says, can I just go talk to him and see? And I'm like, I just spent 6 hours tilling this ground. And sure enough, he comes over and he does it again over top of what I just did.
So it's even better now.
Oh yeah, it's like perfect. And so we spent some time fixing that up and finishing it up, and the yard work's fun to me though. I don't mind it.
Oh, I hate it.
But yeah, I pull up and you're like out there filling the wheelbarrow full of mulch. And I'm like, there's 10 yards of mulch right here.
It is. Not now. Now it's about 8.
Yeah.
Ish.
That's why God gave you a 11-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I offered him money. He said, okay, bet. Worked for about 2 hours when it was like 85 degrees and sat in front of the fan for the rest of the day.
Yep.
And hasn't been out since.
He was working hard at the church today too, though. He might just be tuckered out.
Yeah.
I'd
give him that.
We do give back Thursday.
He said, I was doing back-breaking work today. I don't want to do it today.
I don't know about back-breaking. It was really.
He said I was sweeping.
He was sweeping. He was sweeping and picking up yard trimmings for Pastor Bolgren. So that's how it's all done. That's where you learn servanthood. So it's been fun, man. That's crazy, though.
Yeah, so I've been preparing for this tournament that me and John Miller.
Notice how he
one of the
didn't say
twins.
me and Charlie are doing.
Okay, so
So I've been replaced.
Let's just air this out right in front of everybody.
No, I'm really not hurt.
No, so here's the thing. You know how like in basketball, like if you're doing like a 3-on-3 tournament, you're gonna pick the best 3 players.
He's saying I'm not a good fisherman, even though I am.
So me and John went out one time and he pulled in like 10. And so
the
so
2
I just want
times
to
I went out
increase my
with Sean,
chances.
yeah, the 2 times I went with Sean, I caught hardly anything, and so he's basing my whole fishing career off of 2 early spring trips, full windy, bad conditions, chocolate milk water.
All right,
I'm not hurt.
there will be more opportunities. Definitely.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm not hurt. I did get out though.
Yeah.
We went out all together. When we talk about that Mogador experience with no gas pack, well, we'll get into that. I won't get ahead of you. Go ahead and tell me about your tournament that I got replaced.
So one of the twins is going. Actually, if John's not allowed, Ashlyn, on his birthday, can I please have him? Thank you. If he's not allowed, then Matt is going to go. So, yeah, I've been going out there a lot, probably 3 to 4 times a week. Mm-hmm. and on the weekends, both days,
every day, all day, every day.
Just trying to like learn the lake, man. Just because you've got to know where the structures are. You got to learn how to fish offshore. So this tournament's in July, mid to late July, and so the water level comes down. The fish are offshore. I mean, there's still fish on the banks, but so I've just been studying like the contour while I'm out on the water, just side scanning and just idling the lake. And it's like 3,000 acres. It's not huge, but it's pretty big. It's like 4 miles it's 7 miles long.
I'm talking West Branch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 7 miles long and a mile wide at the widest point. But so I've just been idling through, just like down scan, side scan, just looking for structure, looking for points and flats and stuff like that. And I found a couple spots so offshore fishing, I've never done offshore fishing. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things to learn coming from bank fishing and kayak fishing is you're just always fishing the banks. And so learning how to use electronics to find, and I'm not talking forward-facing sonar, but using your basic electronics to find fish habitat and where they'll be in depths is a pretty new concept to me. And so the challenge of finding those things is so rewarding. Yeah. So I found this point that has grass on it, and it's hard to explain, but it's just an offshore point, and it's proven itself to me now back to back.
Oh, with like
so I went out there once and found it, pulled 2 fish off of it immediately.
Nice.
And did some other things. That day I was out there with Matt Miller. Yeah. And I was just trying to do deep offshore fishing. But then this weekend Tuesday night, when I went out fishing with my family, I said, first place we're going is this offshore flat or the offshore point. And I pull up there. My son makes the comment. So we're on plane. We come off a plane, and the boat just like settles down into the water. I'm got the engine off. I'm still like settling down. I'm up on the deck, pulling the trolling motor in like as fast as I can. And my son makes a comment. He's like, "Dad, you're like a professional." I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting pretty quick at getting off pad and getting onto the trolling motor." And then first 2 cast, bass, boom, boom. And I'm like, I know where the fish are. I was like, this is great.
So when is, and it'll get to the point too, because it's all really about anything in life. It's about repetition, right? Like the more you do it, the better you get at it. And especially with these lakes, like I'm confident in Mogador Reservoir because I've been there so many times, and I've traced At least the onshore stuff, I've traced that reservoir up and down, and certain areas just look fishy, and you just go to it. I don't have the sonars and stuff, but I know from experience where I caught this here. I remember catching something there, and I'll kind of go to these spots over and over again. Yeah, and I'm not afraid to go try new areas, right? But it's all pretty similar. So the structure-wise, what I fish,
the preparations for the tournament. The key thing is to have a bunch of spots to go to, because this tournament is 60 boats. Mm-hmm. So you've got 60 boats taking off at the same time. Well, not at the same exact time. You draw boat numbers and see who, you get your boat number called and you take off. But we're all there at 5 a.m.
So there is a bit of chance to it then, because if you draw an earlier number and you have your spot, you get there quicker.
It doesn't mean the fish are going to bite.
That's true, but your spots.
So you have to,
you could get to your flat.
You have to have a lot of spots to bank, and so marking those on the map and just being able to hit those consistently and know that there's fish there. So learning those spots. That's what I've been doing on West Branch, is learning the spots where big bass are and learning the spots where consistent bass are.
It's fun. It's cool too, because you took your son with you, and he caught something finally.
Yeah, I actually bought crappie magnets and a jig. I went down to the West Branch bait and tackle, or whatever it's called now. And I was like, hey, I've never fished for crappie before, and I want to put my son and my wife on crappie. Tell me exactly what I need for West Branch. And he gave me his black and chartreuse crappie magnets. He said the black or the dark and the light it'll help you fish in both water conditions, clear or muddy. And he gave me the jig heads and said, just throw this under a bobber like steelhead.
Nice,
like a steelhead bobber or a float, and then you got your weights, and then I don't know what I'm doing with it, but he was throwing it out and he caught a bass with it. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're like.
Then I was throwing crankbaits up on the rocks.
I've caught a lot
and snagged a muskie.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I remember seeing this in the group chat with Chase, but I can't keep up half the time. This is why I respond later with the, hey, did you know this happened? Like when you already said it, because it's hard to keep up with all the threads. And I saw that you said you snagged one. Did you land it? I don't remember.
I did not end up landing it because. So I'll preface this with I've caught muskie at West Branch bass fishing before hooked in the mouth, and it was like 30 inches or something like that, which is big, right? It's like a steelhead, but this one was much larger, and it was right at the boat, but it wasn't close enough to grab, and I didn't have a net, and it was snagged in the back, so it was like full force, I couldn't turn its head.
So it was foul hooked?
Yeah. And this thing was like 6 inches off the bank.
Wow, dude.
Anyway, this thing drug me around for 10 minutes.
On your big boat?
Minimum 10 minutes. I was following it with the trolling motor, trying to catch up to it. And this other boat, this muskie boat's next to me, and I was like, hey, you wouldn't have a net, would you? And come over and net it. He just ignored me.
Oh, jerk. Jerk.
But so I got sick of chasing this fish, and it was foul hooked. I couldn't turn its head. It was just constantly pulling. So I couldn't steer him. I had no control over him because he was hooked in the back. And so I just tightened up the drag, and I was like, I'm going to either horse it in or I'm going to snap it off. And it snapped off finally. And then I could get back to
what you wanted to do.
Bass fishing.
That's so funny. Dude, there's people listening that are like,
I'm nailing the bass on jerk baits now.
That's cool, because that's a new thing.
It's often now.
Yeah.
Over top of grassy areas, it's pretty crazy out there.
Yeah. We I remember the day that I got skunked. Kind of. I caught the one on the wacky worm with you. That one of those bad times that I went out with you that made you decide that I'm not allowed to be in the tournament with you. Just kidding.
You got to make the team.
I couldn't do it anyways. Also, I am confident in my fishing abilities. I don't need to be in your tournament. Anyways,
that sounds like something somebody that got cut would say.
No. I also have other obligations. But What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I had a muskie
You're
trail.
bitter. Sorry.
No, I'm not bitter. I blacked out for a second. I don't know. No, I had a muskie follow my something that I was fishing that day, and I could see it, and I was like, "That's a like." There's so many in there, and, and like
is.
it's crazy because that's the fish of 1,000 casts, right? That's what they say.
Actually, I took Christian out, and we were up in the back of a cove, and we were literally on top of one. We could see it. It was literally right there, and we started throwing wacky worms at it, and it ran away.
That's funny. It ran away from the wacky worm. That's funny. No, it circled it, and I was like, "Man, that's cool." You don't see that a lot. But went to Mogador fishing.
Yes,
we all went out.
We did,
and
you shouldn't have brought your kayak.
Well, I did because we had a gang of people go. Like we had a bunch of people go, and we've talked about Mogador at length in this show, and so it's one of my favorite areas to fish because I know it. And that's come with fishing it over time. Repetitively going to this reservoir and fishing it, and it's a solid reservoir, like for bass.
It's
like,
very grassy.
Yeah, right now it is.
It's crazy.
Earlier, if we would have got out there April, that's when crappie time. Yeah. Like me and Justin used to go after work.
Dude, did you see those guys catching the crappie?
Yeah, oh, that's right where we
would
like
100 crappie.
Oh yeah, dude. And there's like they vary in size.
They were so pumped. Those guys were so pumped.
Jazzed. It's a thing, man.
They're like every cast.
Yeah. It's a great feeling. And when it's on because from the Tickner ramp, it's not very far. That's like a hot spot right there. That's one of my spots to go. And people are from the shore. There's always people fishing there, even though they're not supposed to. That's like a loading area for kayakers, which I never mind. I'm just going to go past you and get out in front of you. And I remember me and Justin went one time after work, and we got out in front of these fishermen from the shore, probably like 10 feet away from their furthest cast could be. And we pulled in like 60 crappie
right in front of
them. But it was fun. And but we went out to Mogador. We got a big group of guys to go out, and I remember getting my kayak out, and it was already on the shore, getting ready to launch, and you pull up with your truck, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like I should just get on his boat. But I still had a blast. I like the control of knowing where I'm going and what I'm doing.
But did you have control?
This is the topic. Yeah. It was a windy day.
It was
windy. Quite windy.
The forecast only called for like 7-mile-an-hour gusts.
But I was on them. We were both on them.
It felt more than 7 miles. I wasn't on them.
You caught a couple though.
I only caught a couple because of forward-facing sonar.
So I caught one because I knew my spot.
If it wasn't for forward-facing sonar, I wouldn't have caught a single fish.
Really? I had two. I lost two.
I never mind. I caught one on the bank with the wacky worm.
Third cast
down by the dam.
Third cast for me. I hit one with a spoon. Got one with a spoon, and then
which is crazy.
Well, it's one of the things I do all the time.
They're actually catching fish in deep water today on Kentucky Lake on the MLF tournament right now. Yeah. They were using like 5-inch long spoons, and they flutter them down and they pop and let them fall.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pop and they let them fall and they hit them on the fall.
Really?
They're nailing them on those today. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never seen people use spoons for bass before.
Me and Christian did Mogador. Yeah. Last year we went out one day and we caught like 15 on a little Cleo.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And this is the cool thing. Like the lures that you sometimes you get married to your bait. Yeah. Like you stick to it for a long time. Any fisherman knows that. You got your go-to. And I'm bad with it. Like I'll stick with one thing all day, and it's like I gotta get acclimated to other ways of fishing. You know?
I got 6 rods on my deck with 6 different lures, and then I got one rod that I switch constantly. Yeah. Switch lures on.
Yeah, but
all day I'm changing.
But for me, over the years, it's been like one lure. Like for a season, I'll just fish the mess out of this lure, and then the next year, I'll switch it up randomly one day and I'll catch a big one on it. And I'm like, oh, I got to use this. And then I go with that for like a whole season. Yeah. And to this point, I have like 5 or 6 go-tos that I interchange now. So it's like just part of, I guess, fishing for me. I don't know.
We'll add that wacky worm.
Yeah, I did get a nice setup on that. But we went out and we were fishing and it was windy. And Matt was out with us. Matt Miller.
Yeah.
And you were out, and who else came? Brother Jason came out, and his father came out, and we had a group of guys go, and it was windy, and I did okay. I felt good because I knew where I was. Like West Branch, the last several times, I'm like, dude, I had zero confidence in West Branch.
Yeah.
The times that I went out with you on your boat. I don't know why, because I've fished.
Big.
I've fished there before though, and I've caught great fish at West Branch, but they're in like kayak spots. You know,
and those kayak spots at West Branch on the west side of the bridge where we would launch our kayaks.
Yeah, it's not really accessible for you.
No, we fished all back there.
It's just not going.
Yeah. Dude, I rarely catch fish over there.
Really?
They're all like mid-lake.
Somewhere else.
Mid-lake.
Yeah, I gotta learn it. I gotta get out there and learn it. But it's tough to commit because we have all these responsibilities. And I'm in college right now. I got 2 summer classes. Plus I'm working full time. Plus I'm working for Marcus too. So it's like soup, and we're maintaining this podcast. It's like a lot of things. So to go out and spend the time to learn it.
Yeah. So Mogador is like your comfort
yeah,
blanket.
It's just where like, or I could go to Mogador and know that I'm going to do well.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was so excited. We went out Sunday, but it was windy, but I felt good because like third cast, I caught a bass.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Third cast in, I caught one.
Nice.
And then
I did not like it.
It slowed down, which is funny because why didn't you like it?
Well,
why don't we talk about it? Because it's
a couple of reasons. First, I wasn't prepared for the grass. I didn't have, and since I bought the right stuff like football jigs and swim jigs and stuff that you can pull through the grass, right?
Yeah.
So I had to fish the outside edges of the grass line, which is where probably most bass would be anyways. And I only found them because forward facing sonar. So I'm sitting there like doing this like where like side to side, just scanning, and I'd see a fish and then throw a mooch minnow on a VMC 1/4-inch jig head and smack it in the head, and it bites it. Like that's the only fish I got. Was 2 of them like that.
Did you see the reel I sent you?
Yeah.
The airplane?
Yeah.
So there's this I wish I could
That's
play
exactly what it is.
I laughed so hard.
That's exactly
like
what forward-facing sonar is.
There's this reel of like somebody piloting like a remote airplane, and you could just see it take a nosedive, and it hits his friend in the face, and it's like the caption was like me on forward-facing sonar and the bass that I just whacked in the face.
Exactly what it's like. The second one was cool because I didn't necessarily hit either of them in the head. I threw them right past them, but the first one I saw, but the second one I saw clear as day. I had the sonar was pointed right at it, and so I saw my mooch minnow go down. Shout out Crush City. It went down, and I saw it stop. Like it was like 8 foot, and the bass was at like 10 foot, and so I stopped it like around 8-9 foot and started swimming it and twitching it. Like shaking the minnow is what they call it.
Yeah.
Shaking it past him. And as soon as I get to him, I see him flip around. I literally could see his body and his tail flip and follow the bait and grab it.
That's
and it was
cool.
like
on the sonar you saw it?
Yeah. I watched that and then felt it
cool.
at the same time. I was like, wow,
neat.
that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one reason I wasn't prepared for the grass, which fine. You can adjust for that. The main reason that I hate it, it's really made for small electric John boats and kayaks.
Yeah.
The ramp for launching your boat, it's electric motor only. The ramp, the turn that you have to make to get your, so you pull in, you turn right, and then you're backing down. It's not straight. It's still curved. So you have to back and maneuver your trailer down, which is fine. I'm decent at backing up a trailer, but there's these massive poles, wood like 12-inch in diameter, every like 3 feet along the driveway. And you have zero room to maneuver.
Yeah, that's tough.
So that's annoying. And then unloading the boat, it's like, what do I even do? I just like pushed off as hard as I could off the trailer, and then just like tried to get off the trailer. I had my trolling motor up, and I was just using the trolling motor to scoot off. I guess I could have used a rope, but
yeah,
the dock isn't very long, so you can't really use the rope because there's not enough room.
But if I would have been with you, would it have been easier?
No. there's just not enough room. Having that long of a boat on that short of a dock is like you can't really maneuver anyway. It's like the dock is like 6 feet long, and the boat's 17 and a half. So anyway, I maneuvered around, got over onto the courtesy side, which isn't much of a courtesy side. It's literally in a pile of weeds.
Yeah.
And the dock is like 4 foot lower than my boat.
Yeah.
Not 4. It's like 2 feet lower. It's not made for a boat.
Yeah. There's other launches too, but that's where that's probably the better option, I would say.
And then loading it was like, again, parked over on the other side, and I got the truck down in there, and I'm like, man, how am I going to do this? So I untie the boat and step off the dock, push the boat off, like as I step on, and just try to maneuver out with the trolling motor, and then line it up the best I can, and just full blast with the trolling motor, and then yank up the trolling motor as fast as I can before it hits the trailer.
You called me as soon as you loaded up, and you were like, never again. And I was like, why? I was like, we had a good time. But yeah, I get it.
So getting it I have to pull the trailer in so much deeper just to get it up, just to get it onto the trailer. It's just complicated, man. And then the next day we went to West Branch on Monday.
So easy.
Oh, dude, it just felt so good. I backed down, I turned the motor on, pulled right out. My wife pulled the truck up.
Yeah.
And I picked her up at the courtesy dock, and then coming back, parked the courtesy dock, go get the truck, put it in, take the boat, run it up onto the trailer, and I'm out of there.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of funny. There was a guy that was next to us. So at this dock, there's room for there's 2 lanes in this one area that I was in. And I was sharing the slip essentially with another boat. His truck was pulled in, my truck was pulled in, and I just zoom right past him. Like, there's 2 docks, right?
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of these 2 docks. I just go right past. I load my boat at like 3.5 miles an hour. And so I just zoom right past the guy and just nail the landing onto the trailer, and then just power it up onto the wheel.
Did you see all the Memorial Day fails, boat launch fails?
So this dude missed his trailer.
He was on that fail.
He goes, him and his wife are right there, and he's like, man, I missed that. That guy nailed it. He goes, that guy nailed it. And I was like, dude.
And Trent's like, Dad, you're a pro.
I said, it doesn't happen every time.
Yeah.
And in my back of my mind, I'm like, actually,
it does.
Pretty much.
Actually.
So everybody can do it every time. I don't understand the boat ramp fails. People just don't understand the logic. If you put your trailer in at the right depth, you're going to nail it every time because the bunks are there to help you line up.
Afraid.
Everybody puts their trailer in too deep, and that guy missed because his trailer was too deep, and you can see that clearly.
Yeah,
it's kind of obvious. But it's crazy.
We have some exciting news. We have officially partnered with
Backbone Coffee.
That's right, Casting Faith, Backbone Coffee, partnering together to bring good coffee to your morning routine.
Whether you're out on the water or
in everyday life
or working the graveyard shift,
Backbone Coffee is for you.
Try it out. It's awesome. Check the link in the description.
But what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about
Mogador. Yeah, that's why I don't like Mogador.
Yeah. But the fish were solid.
Reason number 3. Getting around on an 18-foot bass boat with just a 70-pound thrust trolling motor, that's not it.
Yeah, I think
the fastest I could go was like 2.9 to 3.1 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I was cooking. Like, even
you were going way faster than me.
Yep.
And but I couldn't do anything about it.
But the frustrating thing for me is, like, I don't have any spot lock.
Yeah.
And so I would get where I wanted to be, and then I would cast, and then I would look over, and I would already have, here's me. Just with the current, wherever the wind wanted to take me. It was and I forgot my anchor. And I have this anchor. It's not a heavy anchor, but I attached it to a paracord dog leash that's retractable. And so I can just let it out, and it's paracord, so it's not going to rot real easily. I let it out, drop it, and then when I'm ready to go up, I just hit the return, and it just brings it up, and it's simple, simple, kind of a hillbilly-ish way to do it, but Works for me.
It works.
And I forgot that in my car. And so I'm just out there at the mercy of the wind. And so I'm like, I can't get skunked here. I'm not going to get skunked at Mogador. I know the spots. I know where I want to be, but I couldn't stay where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Because it would just drag me.
You caught a big one.
Yeah. And so.
What was it? 2.8?
Yeah. So finally, we.
I don't remember.
Finally, we were able. We were kind of getting sick of fishing this little, launch area cove, and we were like, let's go on this side. And I had my PB bass at Mogador was on that side where we were fishing, and then a couple of times that's where our not camping, but like late night catfishing spot is out that way on that side. And so I knew there's fish over there, and I know there's good bass over there because I fished it before. And I'm like, you're like saying something. I couldn't really understand what you were saying about the wind.
Yeah, I was saying the wind is coming out of the let's see which way the lake goes. That was the west. The wind was coming out of the west, so we needed to fish the west bank because it's protected from the wind.
Yeah,
so it's a little calmer.
So I'm like trying to get out of this place where we're at to where you're saying
we were on the east bank, getting blown by the wind.
And I'm like, I'm paddling out, and I'm in open water at this point. Just
you can't hear nothing but splashing.
And I'm hearing. And I'm like, yeah, no wind, huh? And I'm like, so much for no wind. And I'm like, finally. And then I was just like, I'm like, my heart rate's 170, trying to keep up with the thing, just trying to get where I want to be. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to calm down. And I sat and I just waited for a second, and the wind just carried me to this spot. Like I just chilled, and I was like, I kind of lifted my paddle up a little, and it kind of could steer a little with the wind, which is weird. I've never really, but you can just lift your paddle up, and it's like almost like a sail, and it would carry me to this little side. And I just kind of chilled, and it dragged me to this bank. And honest, like it was second or third cast on my, that's like a 4-inch Berkeley poly shad minnow. And I caught I think it was 17-inch bass. I don't remember the weight. I think it was 2.4, 2.3, something like that. Yeah. And so, but definitely biggest of the season for me on one of my baits that I know. And so there's that
at the lake
the lake that I know. But I caught it, and I think it was one of the bigger ones of the day, and I left early because I had other things going on that night, and I was like, well, I got a big one, and I caught a couple of little ones, and so
there wasn't much going on anywhere else.
And I left, got home, and Brother Jason sends me a picture of his hog that he pulled out,
3.5 pounds.
Yeah, it was like 19 inches or something crazy.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dang it, like good, awesome for you. But
he was at the islands.
Yeah, and that's what, again, one of the other spots. But I wasn't trying to kill myself to try to get there. If we were on your boat and could open up the gas on it and try to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
So that's the frustrating part.
When I got home, I looked on the maps, and I was like measuring how much I run on West Branch. Mm-hmm. And dude, if I could do that on Mogador, I could fish that entire lake in minutes.
Yeah. But you would do so well if they would allow it.
I know.
It would, because we know the spot. Like, I'd be like, let's go here.
So here's my thing on West Branch and Mosquito. Once I learned Mosquito a little better, but dude, after the bite shuts off, if when I pull up to that point, I throw the first 2 casts are the crank, the jerk baits that I caught them on. That turns off because they see it. I switch baits, find something else that they'll hit. That turns off. But once it all turns off, like that's like 30, 45 minutes. I'm cranking the motor up and running like 3 miles down the lake. Like it's instantly like at the next spot. You can't do that on Mogador.
Yeah, but it's
if
different.
you want to go 3 miles.
But the bass,
I don't even know if Mogador is 3 miles, but
yeah, it's
if you wanted to go 3 miles on Mogador, that's like 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, but notably bigger bass than what you've been pulling out of.
For the most part, average is bigger.
Yeah,
I don't know, which means they're all bigger,
but that means they're big. And I know, like, it's up there in rankings on one of the better places to fish for bass in Ohio.
So West Branch is on a tournament series, but Mogador is on an electric motor tournament series, and they have the Tuesday nighters down there and stuff. But Portage Lake's by your house. Yeah. So I guess we can talk about this kid. I forget the kid's name, but he's he's a high school bass fisherman. He won the MLF high school championship at Lake Gunnersville in 2023. I saw him out on West Branch a couple times out there for practice, and then during a tournament. And it's him because he's like sponsored by Miller Tech. He's got like a Phoenix 21-foot bass boat, like decked out, like looks like a professional bass fisherman's boat, logoed up, and it's got his name on it. He was talking about how Lake Gunnersville, which is an MLF Texas or Tennessee Valley River, a TVA lake, I guess is what they call it. But it's always on the professional tournament series. Like it's one of the best bass lakes out there. He was saying how Portage Lakes, because he's from Aurora. He was on a podcast. I was listening to the podcast, and Portage Lake sets up similar to some of these out of state lakes. And him and his partner claim that one of the tactics that they used to win Lake Gunnersville came off of Portage Lakes. Yeah. Because there's ledges, the offshore ledges on Portage Lakes sets up exactly like Lake Gunnersville.
That's good to know. And the cool thing about Portage Lakes in that area is there's options. Like I tell you all the time, Nemesilla. I caught a Fish Ohio fish there, but it's one of the better reservoirs for bass in Ohio. I think it's like top 3 or something like that. I haven't figured it out because I haven't spent enough time on it. But that's 2 turns away from my house.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then Portage, but that's electric only. But Portage Lakes is gas.
All right, here's the deal. We're probably gonna be moving the studio.
Yeah.
In the future, and I'm gonna have to bring my boat over.
Well, so I foresee both of those getting fished pretty often.
I don't know about Nemesilla, but Portage Lakes, definitely.
I gotta
find these offshore ledges.
I will say from experience with David Himes, one of our frequent guests, people are crazy on Portage Lakes.
Yeah.
Crazy, like out of their minds. Like one year a kayaker got ran over by a boat on purpose.
Wow.
Like the person went to jail over it, lost their stuff, everything.
Well,
they're just angry at him.
Canton, so
like, ran him over. Well, it's not Canton. It's more
almost
more in the green. No, it's way better to live in Portage Lakes than it is to live in Canton.
I consider it the same place.
That's like saying this is like
Cleveland.
Yeah. No offense, Nick. But yeah, dude, it's one of the better, fishing areas. It's cool. It's right there. So yeah, we're gonna be moving the studio. Maybe, probably within the month, we'll be moving studio. So you'll get to see a new backdrop behind us, and really won't affect the podcast very much, other than we're gonna get new places to fish. So, but it'll be cool. But yeah, so Nemesilla is electric only. All these places. So for me, as the kayaker, I love it. Because for me, in my mind, that's bigger fish.
Hey, Brother Jason's boat is,
solid.
Brother LeVar's boat is fast.
Yeah.
On that electric motor.
You were saying though, you were like, man, I should have kept a kayak like for this Mongor trips and stuff like that.
I say that, but
get him, Chase.
At the same time,
yeah,
dude, I wouldn't have gotten.
You wouldn't have used it as much.
I wouldn't have been as far as I went. I wouldn't, you don't go as far because you get tired and you're like, man, I have to paddle back.
Well, you're just more selective. And that's how I am. I'm like, I'm more selective on where I'm going to go. Like I wanted to go to the islands where Brother Lamar went.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I know that that's a 20-minute paddle and that's a 20-minute paddle back. And in my mind, I'm thinking time. I'm not thinking about I'm like, I'm not like a, First Phorm's helped me a lot, but I'm not like a super jacked dude or like super in shape right now. But so I'm calculating in my mind time.
Yeah.
So, but I'm competent enough to know that I can go wherever I want to go on the kayak and not get tired or exhausted. But it's going to take me hours on the water, and like the time rolls up in my head. We got out at about 2-3 o'clock. I didn't want to get home at 9 and not see my family.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to stick here, and here. I know I'm going to catch fish here, and here. And it's only a 10-minute paddle or a 15-minute paddle. It's not an hour paddle. So
I also
wasn't
too confident in how long my batteries were going to last.
Yeah.
which they did fine. I had no issues.
Yeah.
2 88 amp hour batteries.
Mm-hmm. So I guess like the debate out there would be this is like, which is better to fish, gas powered and it's really subjective because it depends on what you have. Guy with a boat with a motor on it's going to say gas power. Guy in a kayak's going to say
Kayak.
not, electric or just pedal power or, paddle power.
It's really crazy. Like I was just thinking about because of Mogador, I was thinking about the time where I was looking at the electric motor kayaks, the PDL 120s or whatever, Old Town.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, those are so expensive, like $5,000.
You might as well get a boat at that point.
Yeah. And looking back, like that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But literally only a quarter of the cost of my boat.
Yeah. So it would have been the wiser financial.
I mean, it would have. That would have been the wiser. Yeah. Like actually, not getting one would have been because I already had a kayak.
Yeah. Well, you could trade out.
But YOLO.
That's actually incorrect theology. You actually live forever. So,
well, my son is only young once, and making sure that he has memories that he'll always remember. Like that's important to me. And kayaking. I would have to get him into kayaking. He hated it.
Yeah.
I ended up having to take a rope every time I took him out kayaking and dragging him. Like we were at Mogador and I dragged him all the way down from the lily pads back up to the marina.
He's got to learn the way we did. Like I fished. What got me into fishing was the relationships.
Yeah.
The fun of going out with your buddies. And it started with like we say this a lot. I say this a lot, but it started with catfishing.
Mm-hmm.
Started with catfishing with David and Christian and my buddies and Justin. We would go out and we would go out late at night. We would start a fire in the woods. We'd find a shore and we'd get pole holders, stick in the ground, a stick to stick in the ground, a bucket of chicken liver, and we would just wait for the bell to ring. And in that time, we would just sit and talk about life and have fun. And then we would hook into these giant catfish, and it was such a fun thing.
Yeah.
And then it turned into we would bass fish too and things like that. And David's family had a pontoon boat, and we would fish off a pontoon boat. We'd catch bass and crappie and all kinds of different things. And again, for me, we're all on a pontoon boat with our friends, our girlfriends at the time or something like that. And we would hang out, and it would be an experience of fellowship, know? And so that was a big part of it for me. And then the pandemic hit, kayaks prices went down at Walmart. We got that rollback special and those stimmy checks. And so we bought the kayaks, and that was a game changer, and went out and
still got a couple fish finders for you if you want to buy them.
When the fish finder costs more than the kayak, do you even bother putting it on it? Like,
I don't know.
I'd be like,
a lot of these boats that I see on West Branch now, like it's mostly guys crappie fishing or like semi musky fishing, but mostly the crappie guys, they're out there in these little 10 rigs, and they've got Garmin Live Scope or Active Target 2, which is $5,000.
That's so crazy.
I know that setup costs more than their boat.
Well, yeah, that's nuts.
But they're catching more fish.
Yeah. But like, I have the experience though of going out. Like, it's funny because I know what you're saying with the sonar and stuff like that, and it's valuable. It works. But I also have the experience of going out and finding the spots on my own through trial and error over the years.
Yeah.
And
but like, with kayaks, it's probably not as important. But when you're out on
deep water,
7 miles long and a mile wide of a lake,
I wouldn't know what I was doing. That's why, and I said
you
that
can't see the bottom.
Said that multiple times when I was out with you. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing out here. Like my little minnow is floating on the top of the water, and I need
we're
to be
like 45 feet.
Yeah,
deep
I need to be
like
6 feet down. So like, am I jigging? Like, what am I doing? I should be jigging right now. I haven't jigged since I was 13. So like, I don't know. Like, I'm not used to that. But it's funny how like it kind of evolves over time. It depends on what you're trying to do and what you have.
Yeah.
But the important thing to me was the fellowship in the sport itself. That was what the most fun for me is. But so like you've done both, right? You've done the kayak thing, you've done the shore fishing, you've done all the things. The debate and the question is, gas powered lakes, reservoirs, bodies of water, or electric power, which produce the better fish? Like, what do you think? 'Cause having done both, like you have the like ability to go wherever you want to go, right?
Yeah.
And you've done, it's your first year with the boat.
There's an answer to that.
Yeah.
Because every lake is going to be different.
Yeah.
Regardless of what boats are allowed out there.
Yeah.
Or are you asking like my opinion of what I'd rather do?
Well, no, like I guess both. Like, do you think there's a correlation? So there's some studies. I found this thing, the internet helped me find this. Some studies show that electric only lakes might lead to healthier fish because of the better water quality and less disruption of like the vegetation and all the other things. Less stress, less pollution, possibly more bites. But the flip side of that is like the gas power, you can go to wherever you want to go.
I think the government's ruining that theory because they're spraying mosquito, they're spraying Mogador, like they're killing vegetation on purpose.
Which is weird. Because what do they usually do? Don't they like put like more carp population in to handle the vegetation?
I don't know.
Like, I know
they're spraying it now.
I don't like this. We'll get into that with David, but like, I don't like the whole spray and stuff. Like, I don't like that. I think we should just let it be what it is and learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like them spraying stuff in the skies and spraying stuff on the water and spraying stuff on the field. Like, why don't we just learn to deal with what is natural?
Yeah. They were just talking about Kentucky Lake. That's the tournament that's happening this weekend, of how that lake got overrun with Asian carp or something like that. Mm-hmm. And vegetation or something was off and it just died out. Like the bass population was terrible and they haven't had a professional bass tournament at that lake in like a decade or something like that. And it took that long for everything to come back. But
yeah, so I was thinking about that. Saying that brought something in my mind about Mogador Reservoir. There's these giant carp that were put in there like a long time ago. I think David called them amers. I think that's what they're called. But they're these massive, huge, prehistoric looking carp. And every once in a while when you're out kayaking, you'll just see these logs in the water and they're these amers, but they've been in there for like over 20 years and they've never repopulated and they can't reproduce. They just get bigger and bigger and there's no apex predator after them, there's no like competition for it.
Is there just like really any predator fish in Mogador?
Walleye, Elder Labar claims that there were or used to be muskie in there. But I've never.
If so, that population's got to be very low.
If they're in there at all, it's very low. And I guess bowfin, but I don't think I've seen bowfin in there. Craig Bolgren caught a bowfin off Congress Lake. He was fishing for bass. It's funny how many fish you can catch just by fishing for bass.
Yeah.
And but yeah, these fish, these massive amers just get giant and they're like huge, like the size of this table almost. Like it's crazy how big they get, but they've just been in there forever eating all the vegetation. But I could see like it ruining a lake too. So it's weird, like how they have to figure that perfect formula out.
It'd be interesting to get Pete Rogers' take on why they would want to kill vegetation.
Well, they, I don't know. Yeah. Cause
what's the purpose?
Yeah. What's the point of killing?
I'm sure there's a reason.
Well, I'm sure like
biology stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there is. But did you see update on all that stuff? There was like, the wolf reintroduction and things like that in Colorado and stuff. They recently killed a couple of them wolves because they were devastating the wildlife in that area. So they actually took them out, which it's like, we got some hate comments on that clip from Pete trying to advocate. But I think it's like, we all want the same thing when it comes to this kind of thing. Like we want the best possible environment for the species to thrive.
Yeah.
Like, and people could say, well, we want wolves reintroduced because that's part of conservation. That's part of restoring nature to what it was. Well, yeah, but then like, if you reintroduce a bunch of wolves into this area, then all of the deer are going to die. And all of the elk are going to die, and all of the prey animals are going to die, and then all you're going to have is a bunch of wolves. And then once the prey animals are gone, then they're going to go after your livestock, and then they're going to go after your pets, you know. And people are thinking, well, they're not going to go after. They've never hurt human. They have. There's studies on it. There's people who have, you know, who've died from that. And it's one of those things. But like same with the reservoir stuff. Like we used to fish this spot in Firestone Park. There was this little, you know, it's like a trail that you could run, and there's like a creek, almost like a creek that led out to the river, like a little stream that you could fish. And we would go there after work, back when David was working at Home Depot. We would catch these massive carp. We would catch catfish there. We would catch carp there. We would catch big bass there. I caught a giant snapping turtle once there. And we called it the honey hole, because we would go there quick before kayaks and stuff. We would just fish from the bank, and we could catch anything we want. And it was great. And then they did some construction on the land, like the park around it. And they cut down a bunch of trees, and so they had to cut off the water flow for like months, and it totally ruined the honey hole.
Yeah.
It's still not recovered from that. And so like one little construction project ruined an entire experience for us. It ruined a whole fishing hole for us, and it still hasn't recovered. And so these little things, these little changes that take place, you know, can make a big impact on these fishing spots.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like hard to say which is better, because I guess it varies from place to place and time to time.
But I don't think that a gas engine or an electric motor is going to make a major impact on a lake.
Yeah, maybe not. Unless it's like, unless you're leaking fuel, unless you're leaking fuel, like you got a crappy one. You know?
Maybe that's why we didn't catch fish over there.
From the helicopter?
Yeah, we fished right where it wrecked.
Yeah, we did. We went to the triangle point, and we fished. I caught that one not too far away. I didn't hear any womp-womps. No.
I was listening.
There was no womp-womps. You got to be there at 3 a.m.
All I heard was cars driving by.
No, dude, that whole experience was nuts. And
I'm not going back out there.
I will.
It won't be me on that camping trip.
I'll be out there. We'll see. We'll see if we can convince you. It'll be fun. Let us know in the comments. Tell Sean if he needs to go back out there.
It ain't
or not.
Worth it. The juice is not worth the squeeze.
You can use, we'll get a different kayak or something out for you. But yeah, dude, it made me think, which is better? And then I thought, like, how come there's not like a Tesla motor?
There is.
For your boat?
There is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Elon?
Well, it's not Tesla.
Like when's that going to be more widely available? Something that's powerful, but it's electric.
I don't know. I think it's the weight issue of the batteries.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% positive, but I know that they have electric outboard motors already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not something is it like the price is crazy, or is it like just not worth it for you?
I don't know. I would never do it though. I love the sound of that motor starting up. Somebody that has a Tesla.
That's what's funny to me. I'm like, you'd think he'd want to try to get an electric motor. That way,
when that thing just goes.
You know, some Teslas they like mess with the sound and stuff to get it to have that.
Yeah,
sound.
There's speakers on the outside of the car.
That's so funny.
You can play anything through it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't ditch it if Tesla came out with a smart fishing boat. You wouldn't get it. If Elon was like,
there would have to be a reason.
Yeah, why I would. Well, you already got a Tesla and the charging station, all the things they had a whole thing.
But they would have to put like charging stations out in the marinas, and
that's my hesitation on the electric car industry in general.
Yeah,
it's like I can't roll up to Speedway and charge.
Pretty much, you can. They're everywhere.
They're not where I want them to be.
There's more around you than you think.
You have to have it drive you to it.
There's way more around you than you
There's
think.
a gas station on every corner, though. Like, they got to have it to where it's more
I would say
accessible.
within a 5-mile radius of your house, there's probably at least 5 chargers.
I think there's one.
There's 5 at least, minimum.
That's crazy.
They're not just Tesla brand. There's tons of brands. And then there's even people that there's an app called Plug Share. Oh, and it'll even let you know where like dryer outlets are that are public use. And you can plug your car into a dryer outlet.
Yeah. But you understand what I'm saying, though? Like
for free.
It's not as easy as rolling up to Speedway.
You get used to it. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
Like, because it would make, back, we talked about this last episode where I wasn't sure if my car was going to work out or not. And so we were looking at new cars, and they had like a really affordable Tesla. And it's like, well, yeah, we might do that. And I was like, nah. But that camp drive and that Cedar Point drive.
There's a
and those
charger right on the way
like,
to camp.
Yeah, but you got to stop and charge for 40 minutes rather than just like
5 minutes.
I don't know.
10 minutes. But the time you go in to use the bathroom and grab a drink, you're done. You're ready to go.
I don't know. I'm probably 10 years out from wanting to do that. And then by then it'll be everywhere.
It won't. I don't think the grid could sustain everybody having electric cars.
Maybe if we do solar or something, which I don't understand why we don't do more of that. Where are we at on time?
We're at 50.
Oh, nice. All right.
Or something.
So other news.
Other news.
There's other news.
It's the news.
So you're familiar with
here on the Casting Faith podcast.
Yeah. This is overrated, underrated, but no, that's okay. You're familiar with the Outdoor Boys, right?
The news. Yeah.
So Luke Nichols, right?
Yeah.
The outdoor boy himself.
My lawyer.
My guy. My guy has retired. Isn't that crazy?
Womp womp.
Womp womp. My guy retired. Dude reached 12 million subscribers in 18 months and announced that he's stepping back.
Yeah, but have you seen his son's channel?
Right.
He's all over it. He's still just as involved as ever.
Right. So, but here's my thing with this.
And his son's way funner to watch.
But here's the cool thing. So it's honestly a little inspiring.
Yeah.
If you really stop and think about it, the dude reached the pinnacle of content creation in his niche, right?
Yeah.
It couldn't have gone any better for him.
Yeah. Somebody said that he got to a point where he was making like 600, maybe not 600,000, like 100,000 a month or something from YouTube, something ridiculous. And then he retired, but that's not just going to go away.
No, they're going to
always
still
get that much money
as long as people are watching.
As long as that YouTube channel is out.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Because he's had like YouTube channel for like 20 years.
Yeah, well, he's had it since back when it was like something carp, something.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't always Outdoor Boys. I remember watching it.
Just now took off.
Yeah. I remember, and that's our faith here with this show.
Oh yeah. We're going to do this 20 more years.
20 years and then get 12 million subscribers and be
Charlie, we're back here again.
Yeah, we'll sound like mountain men.
Yeah.
Well.
Which is all, he's on our podcast apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. All righty. It's been a good episode. I hope you
sure would
it.
Like to watch some of that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Well, so Luke does the thing like he and it's because we're kind of doing it. You do a lot of the editing and stuff. It's hard work, and you did it yourself with YouTube for a little bit.
And I have a business
in videography,
weddings
and content creation, weddings, Suite 238. It requires a lot of work and sacrifice, and so to do that for all these years and then he made it, and then he's like people are. Here's what I didn't understand. Like he was saying, people are recognizing me too much. They're bugging me all the time in public. It's getting to be a nuisance. I just want to spend time with my family. Honorable, right? To step away. But then he goes, and my son's really into content creation and I want to help him out. Well, then your family's going to blow up because you're on your son's channel and his channel is going to get to 12 million viewers. Yeah. And then like they're still going to notice you in public.
I think he just said an excuse to make himself feel better and get people off his back, and then was just like.
But here's the thing, man, Luke, you did it. You made it. Like
talk to him like he's going to watch our podcast.
Well, maybe he sees it. But listen, Luke, you have nothing to explain. If you want to ride off into the sunset, well done. Like you did the thing, you earned it. Just say I'm out, and that's cool. You made it. You got out. That's awesome. Like some of the best. I'm into like UFC and stuff like that. Some of my favorite fighters, they won. They were undefeated for a long time, and then they rode off into the sunset and was like, "Hey, I don't have to do this anymore. We made enough money to not do this anymore." And so they just stopped. Right. So unless you're like crazy in love with what you're doing. If you make enough to retire, have fun. Yeah. Go enjoy your bass boat, go enjoy your cabin in Alaska or whatever you got going. Go enjoy it. So I commend him, man. I think it's a great thing that he's done. And it's super cool that he's like, I've done this enough. Here, son, I want you to do this. And it's cool because this is kind of like all his son's ever known because his dad's done it all these years.
Yeah.
And so he's like passing the torch. And that's such a cool thing. That's like legacy building stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I would rather watch his son's YouTube channel just because, like, I don't know.
More relatable.
From me trying to do it, I kind of realized, like, maybe I'm a little too old for this.
No.
And that's not always true, but I just felt like, what am I even doing? Like, kids should be doing this.
Well, but I think
and it's just funner to watch when it's kids because they don't have any, like,
responsibilities.
No, not that. It's like not the pride. Pride's not the right word, but like when you're like afraid to film in public, like that fear of filming
like
in public and stuff like that,
or
like,
breaking rules, and
no, just like filming yourself talking in public. You know, like kids aren't really afraid of that.
They got no shame.
Yeah, and so that's kind of funner to watch because they're just like being themselves.
Yeah,
often,
but I think
not
that's,
always.
That's the key though to good content. Is just. And that's a lot of the comments that we get that are positive are like, you guys are so authentic. Feels like I'm sitting in the room talking with you. Yeah. Like, that's cool. And that's what we're going for.
Well, you are. You're literally right there.
You're right here. So what's up? But
your chair is a little farther away than it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where, like, I really think that once you get to that level, you kind of just do what you need to do for yourself. Yeah. You know? And you don't have to explain nothing to anybody. You did it. You know, you got to where you needed to be. Mm-hmm. As for us, we're like at the beginning of this journey, you know? Yeah. And so who knows where to go. And but it would be cool 20 years from now to be like, hey, Trenton, you know, here you go. You know, or hey, Sadie, here you go. Like, and help them build the platform that they want to do, you know? Yeah. Pass the torch, legacy building stuff, you know? You got junk piling up in your yard. Maybe it's time to move. You got some things you need cleaned out. Well, I have the person for you. Call Marcus at Two Clever Fellas. That's right. They do junk removal, yard cleanup, moving services, even Christmas lights. But that's not all. We have a special offer for our listeners today. 20% off on these projects in the summer and this spring. Call Marcus at 330-283-8000 and mention that we sent you and get 20% off. He's here to make life easier for you. So don't wait. Give Marcus a call today.
Imagine what 20 years from now looks like for podcasting. If right now we're already, you know, most people use AI for a lot of it. What's 20 years from now look like?
It's going to be
that's an episode for David.
It's terrifying.
Or Justin.
Well, yeah, and we'll get into it. It is part of the topics of this week. Yeah. It's crazy. Have you seen Google VO3? Their video AI generator. No, I sent you some of the reels of the Bible clips and stuff, and they're hilarious because it's that influencer style.
And then John sent me the that guy on your shirt.
Oh yeah, the like, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, link in the bio if you want to pick up one of these sweet Bigfoot t-shirts.
He said link in the bio if you want to pick up one of these t-shirts.
Yeah, because I wasn't in the mic. Come support the show, you know. But
get in your mic, Uncle Si.
Well, but what was I saying? It's cool because it's getting to the point. It's not cool. It's terrifying. It's getting to the point where it's getting hard to tell if it's real or not.
It's not,
bro. Okay,
it's not quite there.
Beginning of COVID. We all saw Will Smith eating spaghetti and he had like extra fingers and he looked all weird. And when he went to bite, he was just, it's awkwardly awkward. And it's very not real. And you could tell when you see it that it's not real. Cut to a year later. Now they got the fork motion right. And he's only got 5 fingers and it's only been a year and he's eating it. And you're like, this still looks cartoonish. It looks fake. This is soulless. It doesn't look real. Cut to a year later. It's a little bit better. And now recently you got these, and I wish I had it to play, but I don't, but it's like these prompt videos that are of people, influencer style, and talking like, can you believe they believe in the prompt theory? These conspiracy theorists, they believe in the prompt theory, and it looks like real people. Like it's hard to tell that it's AI.
Yeah.
Like if you put these videos on a 2010 broadcast station, that quality, and it wasn't 4K, you would be fooled. You would not know that it was real. It wasn't real.
You know.
And so if you fast forward that 5 more years.
There's so many conspiracies we could go into right there. We don't have time for that.
No, we don't. But we'll get into it with David. But it's getting crazy. It's getting so scary. So what will podcasting be? For all people would know, this whole episode was generated by Google VO3. You know what I mean? Like that's how it'll be.
Yeah.
You'll just be hearing random chatbots talking. That's crazy.
Wow.
It's uncomfortable. Makes me nervous. But I don't know. I just thought it was weird.
Yeah.
Creepy.
I've got a thought in my head that I can't let out unless we're on Patreon or something.
Yeah. We'll do it. We'll do an episode with David soon on this whole topic. Let us know if you're interested in that. But it was cool that I don't know how we got there. But it was cool that Luke retired. Luke retired and he said, like, there's some like discrepancies for me because you're like, I want to get out of the spotlight. It's affecting my family. Cut to, I'm going to help my kid grow his channel, which is just going to grow and affect your family as well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I get it. It's legacy building stuff, and that's cool. And we would be a failure of a outdoor podcast if we didn't mention this next topic of legacy. Speaking of legacy building, the Duck Dynasty crew and Phil Roberts is passing. Right.
Phil Robertson
passing. I'm still on Nick Roberts. I'm failing. I got to get on the better vitamin system. Ran out of the first Phorm vitamin packs. I got to get another pack because my brain fog is crazy. But Phil Robertson and the Duck Dynasty crew. Phil Robertson's passing. Kind of left wakes in that field.
It was just a change of address.
Yeah. And so. And it's cool to see the family's response and reaction. It's not of mourning and stuff. They believe where he's at is in a good place and led a Christian life. And so honor to them and the crew. And they just launched their revival series.
Yeah. Which
is cool. I saw the first episode and it was funny. Same feel, different crew, same feel. But I've only seen the first episode, but it's pretty cool. But Phil passed on May 25th, battling all kinds of different things, and the Duck Commander crew is bringing back that new TV show. But man, thank you, Phil, for showing us to live unashamed, and that's pretty cool. The legacy that he's built, and now Willie's passing that torch. We speak of content creation and stuff like that. So not only do they have that, but they have like 5 or 6 businesses running out of Duck Commander now. That same building, and all of the kids are involved, and so it's legacy stuff.
Yeah,
and that's pretty awesome. It's
cool.
It's pretty cool stuff. And so, but did you used to watch it when you grew up? Like growing up, you watched the whole
Not
thing?
Growing up, I was
kind of older adult.
Yeah.
Yep. It was one of the shows that I
was always into it.
It was nice because it was wholesome.
Yeah,
you didn't have to worry about the content. It was cool.
I met Uncle Si at a National NRA convention.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Was it like a signing or something? Yeah. Did you get a thing?
No,
or just saw him in passing?
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
The line was like 4 hours long.
That's crazy, dude. We went to Hartville Flea Market with me and David went, and what was his name? Al. Remember Home Improvement?
Mm-hmm.
Al, the neighbor, the sidekick Al.
Yeah,
he was there to have a signing. And it was like $200 a signature. And I'm like, you're the side character in a 90s or 80s sitcom. Like, calm all the way down. But the line was wrapped around the flea market to get Al's signature. And I'm like, what in the world?
Wow.
It's not even like, it's not even Buzz Lightyear himself, It's not even the main character. I don't know. But I would wait in line for Psy maybe. But it all sticks out to me. I hope they find success in their new show and the family. I love Christian content. That's a big part of why we're doing this show here. Yeah. And so it's good to see Christian content go forward and other generations going on. And so that's cool. But I guess we're gonna land the plane here. We talked a lot of different things in this episode. You got anything you want to share?
We mainly just talked fishing.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's
a fishing podcast.
Outdoor podcast. We want to give a variety of different things, but we're fishermen.
I'm just moving on to like my mindset in fishing is just lately just tournament fishing. It's just like a fun, it's new, like it's like you mentioned, like you think you'll ever get to a point where like I've caught so many fish I just want to be done. Like no, now I want to learn the fish.
Yeah.
Kind of how I've learned steelhead.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to have that same with bass. Like
Yeah.
to where every time I know where they should be and know what to throw. Like that's the challenge for me now. Like, and that's like the piece. I asked ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I said, why do I love fishing so much?
Chat, why all these
and
kids?
it said, well, because the challenge and stuff. I was like, no, why can I not stop thinking about it all day? And it explained like probably because it releases the dopamine when you set your mind to a goal. There's a challenge and a mission, and then you succeed at it.
Yeah.
And so like that's like it's probably a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
But, when I pulled up on that spot, and my son's like, "Dad, you're like a pro," and then I continued to pop 2 fish out of the water.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess it's kind of just been like a chase of learning the fishing.
Yeah.
It's just been really fun and watching tournament fishing on TV, not TV, but on my phone, but basically TV.
Yeah.
And just getting into that side of learning like the organization structure of like tournament fishing, and it's just been
it's all fun.
That's where I've been lately.
There's worse hobbies to have.
Yeah.
And I think the answer, like the key to everything is balance, keeping yourself balanced and all of that. And I guess that would be like the Bible today we didn't even really talk about it, but John 3:8 says the wind blows wherever it pleases. Romans 8:14 says those who are led by the Spirit of God, trust in the Lord and he will direct your paths. When we were on Mogador, I was fighting so hard to get where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so frustrated with the wind, even though I had already caught a fish. The pressure, the skunk was off. It wasn't a big deal. Like I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Like if I would have left on that one, I would have been a little disappointed, but like at least I didn't get skunked again. And so, but I was frustrated with the wind and the circumstances around me, fighting all that, on my paddle power, my stock lifetime Tamarack, floater thing. Kayak, it was frustrating, and I got so frustrated with the environment around me, even though I loved where I was, and I knew where I was, and I knew where I wanted to be, and it got to the point where I just stopped, I relaxed, I calmed myself down, and it drifted me. The water drifted, the flow took me somewhere, right? The flow took me to where I was when I caught the big fish for me that day, and so taking a second, relaxing, enjoying the season that we were in, enjoying the environment that we were in instead of fighting against it so much to get my way. I guess that's like where my mind was when thinking about this Bible part of the podcast today is, and so many times like we're doing the right things. We're going to church. We're paying our tithes. We're paying our offerings. We're praying. We're doing all these things that we need to do, and we know to do it as Christians, reading our Bibles, being a witness, all of the things, but you get so frustrated in the environment around you that you're trying to fight to get somewhere that God wants you to be. God just said to me in this season, hey, just take a breath, relax, be with me, and I'll lead you. And the Spirit leads. And so it's a weird parallel, but it's similar to that fishing trip for me is like when I quit fighting where I was and what I was up against, and I just let the water take me, and I just flowed where I needed to go, and I ended up catching what I wanted to catch. And I think a lot in the same way in the Spirit, like trust in God where you're at, and quit fighting His will so much. Just let the Spirit lead you where you're supposed to go. And that's the Bible bit for today. Trust in the Lord and He will direct thy path, And so that's my little bit for today. Just want us to stay encouraged, A lot of times, especially in this season of summer, we're gearing up for youth camps. We're gearing up for camping trips and vacations and all these things. And the water is fine. It was almost 90 degrees yesterday, 80 degrees today, sunny, nice and beautiful out, and it's easy to get imbalanced and easy to get caught up in all the things and commotion of life. Don't forget to stay, up on your spiritual self and your relationship with God. He still has a purpose, even in the nicest seasons, And so it's important to stay in the flow of the Spirit and let Him lead you. direct your paths, and you'll get the desires of your heart. That's the cool thing, you know. You'll still get to experience all those things. But yeah, that's kind of my Bible thing for today.
Amen.
Anything to add to that, brother?
No.
Well, all right. We're gonna skip overrated, underrated today. We're gonna land the plane. Yep. Well, no, I do have one for you. I got one for you. Just kidding. Overrated, underrated. I got some for you. Okay. All right. You've been out a ton by yourself on your boat.
Yes.
Right. And this translates no matter if you're a kayak fisherman or a bass fisherman on a nice bass boat. Fishing in solitude versus fishing with friends.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Solitude.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it?
It's interesting.
It's a different feeling.
It is.
I love fishing with people. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, you're on the opposite.
But no. I'm with you. I would used to say, that's terrible sentence formation, but I would used to say that that I would rather fish with people any day than fish alone. Like you're not going to catch me fishing alone. Now, like we went out to Mogador with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I felt this pressure.
You ended up alone.
I felt this pressure to stay with everybody.
Oh.
And I ended up on my own, alone. And I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
And it was nice to, like I said, I just let the wind take me where I was going to go. And it was nice to not worry about it. And I caught a good fish there. And it was I don't want to say spiritual. That's a weird way to say it. But like it was a different experience. And I've noticed this too. Like I've never solo camped and I kind of want to try it. I think it would be a little unnerving. Especially on Mogador, but I might not do that.
Do it somewhere legal.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think that experience is underrated. I think you should try it. There's a good balance. Again, balance is key here. It's good to fish with friends, but to be out alone sometimes is necessary.
It's definitely for me. So I fish with my family a lot now that we have a boat. So that's awesome. It's fun. I enjoy a lot. And even Tuesday, my wife asked if I wanted to go alone. And I said, no, I want you guys with me because I want my family with me. But there are those times where I desire to be alone. Yeah. And I recharge off. That's how I recharge is solitude. Yeah. Yep. Which is, it's weird. I used to think I was an introverted person. Real quiet, shy, introverted. I have moments where I recharge by myself, and my social battery runs out. Like it'll run out. Yeah. And that's when I need, I just want to be alone by myself. I don't even want to be around anyone. I just want to be alone. But then there's times where I need to be with friends. Like if we've went 3 weeks without doing the podcast, I'm like, I need to go talk with somebody, I need to get out and have a conversation. Yeah. Or if it's been a while since I've hung out with my friends, I'm bugging you in the group chat, like, hey, let's get together, Yeah. Cause I need that. But, I don't know anymore, man. I think it just depends on, I think I need both, Yeah. I think that's where I'm at as a person now. I need the time alone, but I also need the camaraderie and brotherhood. Fellowship. So fishing alone is underrated. It is. I would agree. Fishing alone is underrated. Next one. Okay. We alluded to this, and I'm not throwing shade at the man, but this teenager with the $120,000 bass boat inherited nicely from his father's estate, probably. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? I talked at length about my process of learning how to fish, and I still only have a $250 kayak. All right. First off, shout out. We mentioned him earlier. Yeah. Connor Bauer. Excellent fisherman. Yeah. No hate. High school fisherman. I don't know if he graduated yet or not. Yeah. But he won the national Major League Fishing high school championship on Lake Gunnersville. Yeah. No. Incredible feat. Yeah. No shade thrown, Connor. I don't want to sound like a hater. But where we're coming from is how did you get a $120,000 rig, man? That's nuts. So as a teenager? So I saw him on the water twice. I saw him out one day. He must have been out there practicing. And then I saw him out again during the X Series tournament on West Branch. And I had Trenton with me. And I was like, Trent, remember that Pro bass boat I was telling you about, there it is. Like he got sponsored from Fisherman Central, Miller Tech, just like these massive sponsorships. And he's driving this 21-foot Phoenix. And he's got Mega Live, Mega 360, Live Scope. Oh, he's running low range active target. Like, man. So his boat's $80,000 base. And he's got like 20, 30 grand of electronics on his boat. And I'm just like,
dang.
I thought so. I sent you a video of when I saw him driving by. It looks like a grown adult. Yeah. From far away. Yeah. So I was like, man, this
maybe
dude,
he is. Maybe we're wrong.
No,
maybe he's worked really hard for this, and we're like, you spoiled. No, I'm kidding.
So then I was looking at my pictures today and saw a video and found I saw the name on his boat. I couldn't really make it out, so I had ChatGPT make it out for me.
Terrifying.
And it said Connor Bauer. So I looked it up, and sure enough, Connor Bauer was on that roster for the X Series, and then he won the MLF 2023 high school fishing. Yeah, anyway, $100,000 worth of boat at 17, 16 years old is wild.
Yeah. I hate how...
Oh, by the way,
he
didn't catch a fish in that tournament.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying you could beat him.
That is very possible.
It's possible.
On West Branch. Anyway.
Hey, but a lot of it, I know there's tons of don't take this the wrong way. There's tons of technique and knowledge in fishing.
Yeah.
But sometimes, some days, it just comes down to luck.
Well, my point is, it doesn't matter if you're in a $100 kayak or $100,000 bass boat. Because me out there in my little 20 grand setup, next to this $100,000 setup, I would have outfished him that day.
So he's got quite the extensive history. So dude's probably got a level head.
Yeah, they fish all over.
He played rugby
tournaments.
He played rugby.
I don't know if I would trust ChatGPT on a high school kid.
This isn't right. Some of it, okay. There's multiple. I'm like, wait, he's a high school track athlete, collegiate soccer player, rugby in England.
Maybe we can have him on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
He's in Aurora.
Set us straight.
He's local.
What? MLF events. Okay. Well, anyways, congrats, man. Super cool setup.
He's got 3 MLF appearances and 1 win.
But the overrated, underrated is, I don't know when you got your boat. And again, no hate, no shade thrown. But when I was your age, I was lucky to get $1,000 car, let alone anything that floated. And so I can't imagine. All right, say Trenton just turned 17 or whatever, 18. He's got his license. Are you handing him the keys to the boat?
You don't have to have a license to have a boat.
Right. Well, I mean, if you want to drive it to the dock yourself, you're going to... No. You can't drive your car to the...
Oh, to drive your car. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is he's got his... Imagine Trenton has his license.
I would love if he was in that position where he had his license and he could take a boat out by himself.
But would you be like... Or maybe you have a new boat.
That starts right now, though. Mm-hmm. That training starts at 11 years old or younger.
Would you be like...
He's driven the boat already, so...
But you would hand... this is yours now at 17.
If I'm wealthy, yeah.
Heck no, dude. No way. Dude, because I don't know. I remember, in my mind, it goes you gotta earn, you gotta earn your stripes. You gotta learn what you're doing. And I get what you're saying. You're saying train him now to when he gets to that age, he knows what he's doing. But I don't know. Earn it.
If my position is if we're well off, why?
Well, why
not?
10 years from now, our podcast is going to have 12 million subscribers when we're doing this full time. So we'll have plenty of funds. But I'm saying I would get him John and Matt's boat before I hand him yours.
This is my first boat.
That's what I'm saying. You worked really hard your whole life to get this. You earned it.
Some would say.
Yeah, but you earned it. You put in the time. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think it's crazy. Congrats, dude. I wish I had it when I was your age, but probably glad that I didn't, because I would have probably...
Maybe if I see him out on the water again, I'll ask him to come on the podcast.
Yeah, be cool. Yeah.
Like, teach us how to fish.
No, you'd be like, you want to fish a tournament with me? He's not. This guy over here. I need a new partner. Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to let me live that down.
No, I don't care, dude. I really don't care. It's not a big deal. But
You'll be on a tournament eventually.
Yeah, man. Yep. Definitely be cool to host one. That'd be sweet. To do our own Move the Mission tournament would be sweet.
I briefly mentioned that to Brother Jason.
Be sweet.
But I can't do it if it's on Mogador.
You got to do it. You got to do it in an area where everyone can compete, though.
Everybody can compete on West Branch. Kayakers and electric motors can stay down on the east end.
I don't know.
In the no wake zone.
Yeah, but
West Branch anywhere.
West Branch has kind of been trashy fishing wise, though.
Nah.
Like, it's been horrible.
Nah.
I'm speaking from a kayak experience. Like the last year, it's been horrendous on the kayak.
I can go out there and catch 15 bass by the sunset.
So that's saying that it's not. That would be fair because you got you got all these things, and the ability to gas it 6 miles down the road. Like, it's not equal.
Everybody has the ability to have that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
That's the whole. No, not a kayaker.
Go buy a boat. I'm just saying, like, it's not against the rules for you to have it.
Right. No,
so it's not illegal in the tournament.
You got to level the playing field, though. If you're going to do an all-style tournament, you got to do it in a lake that, it's a little... Everybody would have the same torque. You might even be better off than one of these littler boats, Anybody could rent from the marina a John boat with a motor on it that can get them where they go.
There you go.
But
or a pontoon.
Yeah, but you're not... No, you're talking about West Branch.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't like it. I think you got to do it in a equalised playing field. I'm not saying Mogador, but somewhere like
electric
that.
motor only. I'm out. I'm out.
Oh, the times has changed.
Unless I have a setup for it.
No, I think if we build it the right way, it would be fun.
A lot of people have boats now.
We know like 3 people with a boat.
Yeah.
That's it. Not a lot of people. Like in our area.
Matt's going to have another one next year. So
Maybe.
That's not a maybe.
We'll see.
He's definitely going to have a boat.
We'll see. That was my last. You got any overrated, underrated? Got any questions?
Hour and a half long podcast. Underrated or overrated?
Yeah, no, just right, baby. And on that note, we're going to land this plane. This has been a fishing episode. We love fishing. We love the outdoors. We love everything faith, fishing, and outdoors. And we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Shout out to our sponsors, First Phorm, Two Clever Fellas, and Backbone Coffee, who has a new brew coming out. We're not going to announce the name, but we'll let you see it in our links in our social media. We've got to try it early. It is solid, honestly. I was telling Cam the other day, it is my new favorite of the 4 roasts that they have. It's so good. I had it this morning. Delicious. And so well done, Backbone. I'll get you some coffee, some First Phorm, and call Marcus to do these 10-yard mulch beds.
And that's where I'm headed right now.
And, don't do that. Get your 20% off when you mention the show, 15% for Backbone. Visit our affiliate links in the show description. But we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us, talking all things fishing, faith. We're excited to have you along for the journey. But until next time, keep casting faith into everyday life.
We'll see you.
Like, comment, and subscribe.